Okay, so Canada's unemployment rate ticked up to 6.9% in April. Nice. Matching pre-pandemic high. Manufacturing sector hit hard, especially in Ontario as trade war got heated. I'm going to go over this data. I'm going to cover some more data, and then I'm going to talk about the market and give you my thoughts and opinions. So Canada's unemployment rate ticked up to 6.9% in April. Nice. Statistics Canada said on Friday, matching the highest rate seen in 8 years outside of the pandemic. The economy added a very slight 7,400 jobs during the month. Most of the increase was due to temporary workers hired in the public sector to work on the federal election. There were also gains in finance, insurance, real estate, rental, and leasing, which is super weird. Those numbers were offset by lower employment in the manufacturing sector, which lost 31,000 jobs as tariff uncertainty related to the U.S. trade war engulfed the industry. The wholesale and retail trade sector lost 27,000 jobs. Ontario in particular was walloped by the drop in manufacturing jobs, posting the largest decline of any province in this sector with 33,000 jobs lost. Windsor, which I did do a video on it being the best place to buy an investment property like 5 months ago or something like that. Maybe don't listen to that video now. Saw its unemployment rate tick up to 10.7% as a U.S. tariff on automobiles went into effect. The national unemployment rate last hit 6.9% in November 2024, a high that, outside of the figures seen at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, had not been reached since January 2017. So take a look at this chart. It is obviously in an upward trajectory. Not amazing. More young men were searching for work in April, which sent the unemployment rate for that age group 15 to 24 up slightly, which I think is a lot higher than Canada's overall unemployment rate. I don't remember what the number is, but it's like really high. It's like 14 or 15% or something like that. The share of workers being laid off may increase during periods of economic downturn or disruption among those who were employed in March 2025. So if we take a look at this chart here, like finance, insurance, real estate, rental, and leasing increased to 5.7%, which is super interesting. Don't really have an opinion on why that is. But if you look at forestry, fishing, mining, quarrying, oil and gas, that's down 6.3%. Wholesale trade down 4.7%. Other services down 4.5%. So that's obviously where the job losses are happening. Now, how bad is this? How bad is it that unemployment is surging? Well, it could definitely get bad, but it may not be that bad. And I'll show you why. Again, I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying that there's a possibility it may not be. So I want to show you guys this. This is the US unemployment rate. And if we go back to the 2008 housing crash, we'll see that the unemployment rate didn't actually surge until 2009. Right? So did high unemployment cause a housing crash, or did the housing crash cause high unemployment? Well, if we look at the median home sales prices for the median sales price of houses sold for the United States, you'll see that prices had already crashed by 2009, right? So it'd be the latter of the two. It'd be the housing crash caused higher unemployment, right? At least that's kind of what the data would show, right? So high unemployment doesn't necessarily mean a housing crash, right? It would actually be that if the housing market crashed, we would see higher unemployment based on this. But again, I'm not an economist. I'm just showing you some data and suggesting that things might be different than, what people think is going to happen. Another thing weird about the real estate and finance industry apparently having job growth is the fact that I know there are companies laying people off, Rennie being one of them. Rennie is like, the biggest, project marketing company. At least I think they're the biggest in the Lower Mainland. And they just laid off 31 employees because obviously pre-sales aren't selling. And something important that he said in this article, I'll try to find it. The shifts we are seeing in real estate aren't temporary. They are structural, the Post said. And yesterday is never coming back. So that is pretty scary when you put it like that. Now, something that is pretty scary, in my opinion, is according to the BOC, I guess this is something Tiff Macklem said in the last meeting, if financial stress on households were to intensify, banks could tighten lending standards. Actually, I don't know if he said this, but this is just something that was said, which could lead to reduced credit availability, right? So what actually was like the main cause of the housing crash in the States in 2008? I'm not highly educated on this, but I think it was actually the fact that there was no liquidity in the banking system, right? Like if you wanted to get a mortgage to buy a house or a line of credit, you just couldn't do it. The banks didn't have money to lend. They had no money in their reserves to be able to lend money to people. Like I remember listening to this podcast of this guy, and he is basically saying that like nobody could get credit right? So like investors were like pooling money with their credit cards to buy houses, right? Like I remember hearing this guy bought like a couple houses in Detroit on a credit card, right? Because you couldn't get a mortgage on anything, right? So this would be scary because like it doesn't matter what the price of a home is, but like even like a $200,000 house is expensive if you can't get a mortgage to buy that house, right? So like if the banking system just lost all of its liquidity and nobody could get a mortgage, well then nobody's house is going to be able to sell on the market because obviously nobody can get a mortgage to buy that house, right? So this is something that could actually be scary. Now, all that being said, what is happening right now in the market? It doesn't feel that scary. The market's picked up a lot, right? Like I just went on vacation to this beautiful Airbnb. Maybe I'll show you guys. So there's this really famous Airbnb in Chilliwack. We had to book it a year in advance. It's a tree house, right? Hot tub down there. And the best part about this property, I'm gonna show you. Come here, buddy. Yeah, you. Yeah. This is bulls right here eating up presale condos in the valley. What's up, dude? Okay, so fire pit, hot tub, middle of nowhere. Give you guys a glimpse of the inside. So it's my candy. Yeah, taking a day off from being healthy and enjoying something in my life for once. Mind your business. All right. And then there's more cows. There's actually a couple babies. I don't know if you can see the guy in the middle. He's a baby cow. Right. And then there's a loft up here. Pretty cool, hey? I don't know how this is legal currently. Would be cool to know, but definitely worth it. Pretty sweet. Feed this bull right here. And of course, there's a joke in real estate that if you want to do more deals, just go on vacation more often. Because the second you go on vacation, everybody's going to want to write an offer, right? And I'm not complaining, but I did spend like my first night on vacation writing 2 offers. I booked a listing appointment. I picked up like 2 or 3 more buyers. And just like an anecdotal story here for you guys. So I have a client, they actually watch this channel. So appreciate you guys. Shout out to you guys. But we were looking at a townhome. And they liked the place, beautiful townhome, had like a great backyard, good square footage, newer, move-in ready, corner unit. And it was literally the first place we saw, right? So obviously if you're a buyer, when you go see like one place, you want to see some more places. You want to see what's out there, right? But they end up really liking this townhome, right? So they asked me like, hey, if we wanted to write an offer, like how long do you think, like how much time do we have to like, you know, go check out other places and discuss this, right? And I was like, well, it's 13 days on market, but it is priced really well. And it's an awesome product that's in pretty low supply. Like it's hard to find these corner unit townhomes that are a good size that have a backyard and all these things, right? So I'd be like, I'd probably do it sooner rather than later, to be completely honest with you, because I wouldn't be surprised if somebody came in and wrote an offer on this tonight or tomorrow, right? So lo and behold, they text me like the next day and they're like, you know what? Yeah, I think we want to write an offer. So I go back to the agent. They already have an offer in hand. So now we're competing, right? Another day passes. We spend that whole night negotiating, right? And then the next morning, it got pushed to the next morning. The next morning, the agent tells me that now there's a third offer involved, right? So my client's just like, you know what? We're not doing this on like the first place that we saw. We're not gonna be in multiple offers against 2 other things. We'll just go check out some other townhomes, right? But that was 3 in multiple offers against 3 other people, just out of the blue. And this is a townhome that's on market 13 days. It's not listed low. It's listed at market value. And now this thing might actually sell above its asking price if I were to speculate on what's happening, right? So I'm super busy right now. Tons of buyers have come out of the woodwork. You know, I'm working with probably like 15 different buyers, listing coming up. And there's definitely a lot more urgency right now. So despite all of this negative data, it doesn't feel like that in the real estate market right now. And again, we are in the thick of spring, so maybe that changes come summer, maybe that changes in the fall. But for now, I'm not feeling the scary data that is coming out. I'm not feeling the unemployment rate rising. I'm not feeling the, hawkish and negative rhetoric that's coming out of the Bank of Canada. So that's what's happening right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to chat with me about buying or selling in the Fraser Valley, there's a link down in the description. Otherwise, appreciate you for watching. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.